What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Unpopular Opinion. I am back with my Destiny character analysis as promised, y'all. I'm really only doing this as a live because I have another treat for y'all that I couldn't figure out how to blend together without using StreamYard. So most of y'all would catch this on the replay. I didn't really do this to chat, but I hope you like it. Let me know in the comment section what you think about my character analysis.
Are you or someone you know experiencing sudden obsession with fictional characters from the hit show Love and Marriage Huntsville? You may be suffering from melody derangement syndrome, or MDS. MDS affects hundreds of fans worldwide, causing compulsive behaviors such as rage tweeting, binge watching YouTube videos, and prying into the personal lives of TV characters. Don't let MDS control your life. Talk to your doctor today about the symptoms of melody derangement syndrome and find out how you can regain control. Consult your physician before starting any treatment. Side effects may include improved social interactions, increased productivity, and a healthier relationship with reality. Viewer discretion is advised.
Uh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Reality Dropout with your girl Unpopular Opinion. I am here with another character analysis video. As promised, here is Miss Destiny Peyton Williams. I'm really excited to get into her character traits, her character arc. It really took a lot of work. I won't even lie. I had to go back to season 1, episode 1, where Destiny made her first appearance on the show. And truthfully, I just kind of got caught up watching all of season 2 over again. It was a really, really good season. Maybe one of the best seasons of the series. So I encourage anybody who's interested to go back to season 2 and check it out. A lot of really good foundational things occurred during that season that really sets the platform and the stage for the things that we see today. So, we meet Destiny, as I said, season 1, episode 1, which I think was called Melody Special Delivery. And upon meeting Destiny in season 2, I think that her character traits are loyal, confrontational, and stubborn. Some of these things continue, of course, right? Like character traits don't necessarily always change, but sometimes they advance based on the defining characteristics or events of the story. And just as a sidebar, anyone who's just starting to watch my videos, my character analysis videos are not psychoanalysis videos. I'm not analyzing Destiny as a person. This is like a book club of sorts. That's what my channel is about. We stick to what we can see and prove on the actual television show and try to stay away from too much of the YouTube and social media beefs and additional information that can't necessarily be verified. And so we're going to stick to what we saw of Destiny on the actual show. So yeah, man, Destiny came on as a friend of Melody and Martell. Actually, Destiny and her husband, Laberic, came on the show as friends of Martell and Melody. Martell went to high school with Destiny, and apparently Martell went to elementary school with Laberic. Martell and Laberic were friends for some time longer than he and Destiny were. And at this time of the season, Martell and Melody had been together for about 13 years. So these were couple friends. You know, a lot of us have them
If you're married, you have other couple friends that you may be close to. In this season, we saw just how close Destiny specifically was with Melody. This relationship just came through very quickly, and it was good to see. It was necessary, and I would say probably the most genuine friendship that I personally have seen on this television series. Um, we can see from the very beginning that there is trouble in Destiny's relationship. Um, when we see them all together, both of the couples, they had a double date. And every time LeBeric pretty much opened his mouth, Destiny had some kind of a rebuttal or a challenge to things that he was saying. They were kind of bickering about how Destiny wouldn't allow him to make any decisions regarding the birth of the baby, the birth plan, where she lived. There was some conflict about her moving to Huntsville and him not agreeing with when. And I mean, it was just really a back and forth, back and forth. And Melody and Martell were uncomfortable about it. And it kind of ruined the date night a little bit with the bickering back and forth. But you could really tell the love that was between the four of them. Um, but you could also tell that there were some similarities as well in the relationship. Um, Melody, as well, was kind of, very short with Martell in the same way that Destiny was with LeBeric. And sometimes, that is, indicative of a loss of respect um, in the relationship. And so, of course, as seasons progress, we kind of see that to be true, that there were some things obviously going on under it all for both couples. And that could have been something that Destiny and Melody bonded over. So again, Destiny comes in, friend of Martell and Melody, really good friends, as you can see from the clips up here. Um, a couple of my favorite episodes and scenes from season 2 and 3 were the moments between Melody and Destiny. When they went on, I think some point during season 2, Destiny did um, a retreat. Um, and the lady Siama, I think was her name, she asked the girls to give a card, to each of the other ladies saying, how they felt about them. And Destiny referred to Melody as her protector. And that's what you see at the top right corner. They shared a moment about how Destiny has always felt protected by Melody, and that's her role in her life, and how she always stands up for her and looks out for her, and how important that is in her life. There was another scene where they were kind of arguing about some things, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But Melody did this activity where it's like, okay, I'm gonna cut into this watermelon, and if the watermelon is not sweet, we're not gonna be friends no more. And then of course they cut into the watermelon and it was sweet. And they're like, bitch, we best friends, and they hug. So they were very, very close. And I would say that this made a lot of sense for the show. Originally there were the core six, which meant that there were only three ladies. Right. So you have Melody, Letitia, and Kimmy. And we know with the core six for that first season, there was conflict back and forth between Letitia and Melody, right? And then Kimmy was complaining about always being in the middle. So I think that it was really smart to bring in another woman, another couple onto the show. Um, and as you can see here on this slide, even though it started out tough, Destiny came right in, kind of having a little bit of conflict with Kimmy, because Kimmy referred to LeBeric as the chicken man. So Destiny had to, come in with some confrontational energy with Kimmy. That was an issue. Not too long after that, she had, some confrontational moments with Letitia. And this goes back to, the initial character traits that we see of Destiny, of being loyal, confrontational, and stubborn. She came in loyal to Melody,
not in an attack dog sense. Like she was not coming and approaching those ladies based on anything necessarily that Melody had sent her to do. You know, she wasn't fighting any battles for her. But she was very critical of the two ladies, which seems to be a theme for Destiny. Destiny seems to be the type of person who's very hard on people when she meets them in the beginning, which could be a trauma response. She could have possibly been hurt in the past or have trust issues. But it makes sense because she is a loyal person, and people who are very loyal, they don't give that to just anyone, and so they kind of vet or haze new people before letting them into the circle. But once you have them in the circle, once people like Destiny have you in the circle, you're in there for life, and she's gonna be there. She's like that solid girlfriend. She reminds me of like a Lala Anthony, who's always kind of in the background. She's everybody's friend, like she's on all the reality shows, just, a 2 degrees of separation from everybody. She's Sierra's friend. She's Kim Kardashian's friend. She's Kelly Rowland's friend. Like she's literally everyone's friend. And that's what Destiny is. She's like that girl's girl, kind of a friend who, once you get to know her, she'll do anything and everything for you, and you can't help but really kind of be brought into her world, which is, sometimes we don't see that on screen, which says that something is really missing, right? If you can tell from the reactions or the ongoing relationships that she has with folks on the actual show, something is obviously missing. She came in as a friend of Melody. She had just moved really into Huntsville, but very quickly she started building her own relationships. When they had the episode where they did the soft launch for Black, you can see Destiny interacting, hugging, talking to Nell, and various people in that space. She looked very comfortable. And this all was able to happen within one season. So I think that Destiny was a great addition to the show. She added some balance. She was a good middle person between, kind of like the back and forth beat between Mel and Letitia. Kimmy feeling like she's in the middle, but then Destiny coming in, adding the balance that we needed. Another good thing about adding Destiny to this cast was that after she was able to kind of resolve her made up, fake, not real deep issues with Letitia and Kimmy, she was able to be the voice of reason. She didn't feel the need to um, have a problem with Letitia just because she and Melody were not getting along. But she also didn't feel like she was in the middle. I think that Destiny just really brought the group together, and she was the glue for those 4 ladies. And I would have really loved to see the 4 of them continue longer. Before we started kind of like building onto the cast. Destiny came on with her husband. She was building her brand. Very first season, again, her very first season, she clocked in. She had a whole full event for Madani. She's talking about building salon suites. I mean, if we were able to just kind of use season 2 as a springboard, Destiny would be so much further along in the story than she is now. And we'll get into some of the key events and the things that sort of put a stop or, kind of threw a wrench in the plans of the progression of Destiny's character. But again, I just want to make it very clear that Destiny's role was very obvious. Although some folks didn't like her when she first came on. I mean, no one really truly likes new characters initially, but she was needed. There was too much back and forth between Letitia and Melody. Kimmy wasn't really doing a good job of helping them to resolve anything because she just didn't really want to be in the middle. Destiny came in as a mature friend of Melody. She didn't come in as an attack dog for Melody. She came in with love and affection for Melody, but also being the type of person who is able to be rational, right? Like she was able to develop relationships with the other ladies, genuine relationships with the other ladies, and really add that 4th spot that was needed. Again, she's loyal, she's confrontational, and she's stubborn, for sure. But there's a little bit more to Destiny than just that. So let's get into the key events, right? So the first key event was the divorce and the fallout. Okay. So it was very clear
from this episode that this clip is from that there was trouble between Destiny and Liberic. I mean, just the conversation that they were having, the tone of it. There was lack of respect on both sides. As a wife, I couldn't imagine sitting at a table with another couple and having that type of exchange with my husband. We've been together for a very long time, so things like that happen, but it's always indicative of some deeper things that are happening under the surface. So it's a little uncomfortable to watch. And so I wasn't surprised that they ended up divorcing. It was surprising that it happened, I think, when the baby was only 3 weeks old. I think in this shot here, Destiny was about 21 weeks pregnant, which is very early in her pregnancy. But by, I guess several months from here, they were divorced. One major issue with the divorce was that she didn't tell anyone, including Melody, how deep things were in her marriage, how bad things were going. I'm pretty sure she shared things with Melody because they were genuine friends. You can see that you can't fake what we saw from them on screen, because we've seen fake friendships faked on this show. And it doesn't look like the relationship and the interaction between Melody and Destiny. But it doesn't seem as though Destiny really told Melody about how deep the issues were with Liberic. And in some ways, Destiny may not have been expecting Liberic to file for divorce, because it is kind of rare for a man to file for divorce. So there could have been some shock. She could have been embarrassed. But then we also have the situation where she was kind of legally bound to not speak of him. He did go missing off screen. We pretty much didn't see him ever again after a certain point in the season. And so a lot of that stuff obviously has to do with what Destiny has told us were some legal filings that kind of put a gag order on her on what she could or could not say is related to him in the marriage. And the divorce really showed us some different traits of Destiny. One, genuine; another, grounded and supportive. I hinted at the genuine piece when talking about the relationships in Huntsville that she's been able to establish on her own, and how genuinely folks in Huntsville, all the other cast members, they love her. Even seeing later in the season where she kind of meets some of the other cast members and it explodes, but ultimately she becomes really good girlfriends with everyone. So I think that shows that once she actually decides to give someone a chance, that she is being genuine about that chance. She's not a disingenuous person. If she's saying that she's going to move forward, she's going to truly move forward with her arms open. And she's going to be fair. And I think that's a very nice trait to have that a lot of people don't have, right? Some people feel like, if you've ever shown me that, there's ever an issue, I'll have to keep my eye on you, kind of thing. But Destiny seems like she loves hard. She's a tough nut to crack. She's a tough cookie, but once you get into her layer, it seems like she's a very a soft and genuine person. We also know, or can see from my perspective of her character, is that she's grounded. I'm going to say that she's grounded because we saw her pretty much lose or begin to lose things in season, towards the end of season 2 into season 3. Her business is not necessarily doing well. We stop hearing about it. We start seeing her, kind of get into other things and start to take off and trying to figure out what she wants to do. Destiny is a very driven person, and she's grounded in life. Like, she really is the girlfriend, and you also at the thumbnail, I'm saying that her character is the sidekick. And I'm going to get into exactly what that means towards the end. But Destiny is a great supporting cast member. She really had to deal with her life falling apart in the background, but present on camera. She had to split herself in half, right? Which then read as mysterious, right? So viewers couldn't see all that she was going through. And it looked like she was only showing a portion of herself. And so that started to give us
questions, right? We started to have questions. What happened to the marriage? Why are we not kind of talking about that? What exactly is happening with your business? I mean, all the questions started to come about. Another key event in the character arc for Destiny was the addition of Stormy and Tiffany. So I said just a moment ago that Destiny was a great addition to this cast. Even if her marriage didn't last, I would have liked to have seen them resolve that or deal with that in some kind of way or fashion, than just kind of letting it go and leaving everyone to have questions. But Destiny was a great balance to the cast. Very quickly in season 3, so Destiny came on in season 2, added the balance we needed. She was able to really get the girls together. I think that if we had seen the 4 of them last longer, all 4 of those relationships would be strong to this day, and we would have a really strong ensemble cast. I don't know if I think that things would be as bad as they are relationally between everyone. But whatever. In season 3, we get Tiffany. Tiffany comes on to the show, and immediately, from very much her first scene, starts to target Destiny. The reason why this is an issue for Destiny, and it is a key event, is that she started to receive, first of all, she's a secondary character still, because her proximity to this story is originally to Melody. She has a friendship with everyone, but she isn't a main character. She hadn't built her main character, main central storyline. I think season 3, she just kind of even came up on the, the introduction of like Destiny, her little, moment in the intro. She had just gotten that. So she's building her legs, but again, in the background, life is falling apart. She is really tending to that and trying to keep, a good face. She has a newborn baby. Like, she's really probably losing her mind right behind it all and really trying to just keep afloat. And then immediately you have a new character who starts to come at her. I saw your husband with another woman, right? So who knows what that actually symbolized for Destiny, because only she knew at that time that her marriage was not solid and there was some divorce lurking in the background, blah, blah, blah. Right. So now when I talk about key events, they aren't necessarily in chronological order because a lot of these things overlap and they happen in the same season. But Tiffany coming in, kind of, coming for everyone, also being introduced as, a friend or someone who knows Melody. I don't think that was a good addition to the show at that time. Later on, because the dynamics changed, Tiffany's presence was necessary as Destiny kind of taking she didn't really take Destiny's spot, but her position kind of, her coming onto the show created a space for her in the long term. But as far as Destiny's character arc, Tiffany was just drama and stress that she didn't need. And again, because she's a real girl, Destiny is not necessarily, I don't think that she's a TV person. I think that she's more like Letitia and Kimmy, where sure, the opportunity came. I'm mildly interested in these types of things. I know that she sings and she's done some acting in the past, but I think that Destiny is really a grounded in reality, right? And so she's not going to put up much of a facade. She tries to balance it, but once she gets triggered, all that stuff goes out the window. So whereas, someone who's really truly an actress can kind of just like, say something clever and do a comeback and, all that, Destiny actually gets pissed and wants to go into that space. Like, she wants to get a chick together. She wants to snap. She wants to do all the things because, again, she's the homegirl, right? Like, she is the homegirl of the show. And I think that Tiffany just kind of added something to that space where it caused, it was like almost a straw that broke the camel's back on Destiny just kind of like completely shutting down. Because it's only so much that a human being can take, especially a woman, going through what we now know that she was going through during that time period. We also know that Stormy was added. that too, is additional stress on her, that then showed us sides of her being, again, more aggressive, more stubborn, right? Like those traits start to come out, and those types of things don't read well to the audience. She started to get like the title of just being, nasty and mean and aggressive and all that. But when you really take it all into consideration, all things considered, it makes sense. If we were kind of engaging in better storytelling, I think the producers would have added some balance to that story and help the viewers understand more of what was happening, and not unnecessarily poking at Destiny when she was kind of at a phase where she was trying to figure all of the things out and how to proceed with the fact that her life was falling apart. Now, we've seen another character kind of go through the same thing, of a divorce, starting over, like things falling apart. But that person is, for the sake of the show, had the ability to do it on camera so everyone could see where the change was coming from, where the attitude was coming from, where all those things were coming from with that particular character. With Destiny, we couldn't see into that. So it didn't quite make sense. And then she started to lose the support of the viewers. Now, the defining event was season 3, reunion. At the season 3 reunion, although Letitia and Melody were supposed to be at a truce, Letitia made some sort of a comment or an expression or a gesture while Melody was talking, and everything was erased. Unbeknownst to the rest of the cast, Melody had decided that she was 150% done with Letitia, and Letitia was officially her enemy. Now, it's important to remember, like I just kind of built this up, that Destiny had built her own genuine relationships with the other cast members, which is why her space on the show, again, was valuable, it was needed, and it made sense. By the time we get to season 4, and this is where things start to change for the show overall. Part of season 3, kind of like mid-season 3, then that reunion, the period of time where the show is on break before the reunion, and then the time in between the show comes back to film for season 4. That's really where the fandom and the craziness regarding social media came into play. That's when we really started to see more of the social media narratives leaking onto the show, whether it be through Wanda, whether it be through Martell, whether it be through Melody. But that's when we start getting the look at the phone, look at this story, and what do you have to say about this story, and what do you have to say about the 20 women thing? Like, keep in mind that the 20 women comment had been made a while ago towards this point, but then season 4, here we are with pictures from, I think Ariane had done an interview. So it was a lot of things happening in the background regarding social media, the fandom, and that's kind of when the stans entered the chat. And we find out, obviously, through the internet that Melody no longer likes Destiny. Okay. There's a major problem with this, right? There's a major problem with this. One, again, came in as a genuine, true blue, real friend of Melody. I love seeing Melody and Destiny together. Loved it. It warmed my heart. It actually makes me tear up a little bit looking at where they are today, because if you're blessed, you'll get at least one friendship like that. And it was real. Okay. Relationship with the rest of the cast, found your footing. From that point, you were solid. Then boom, life flips upside down. Your husband files for divorce. You got a 3-month-old baby, all the 3-week-old baby. All these crazy things are going in the background of your life. You're trying to move forward and just continue on TV and just balance. Just try to do the balancing act. Then you got to deal with bullshit from other female cast members who are a non-factor to you, because why are you here? These people don't have any relationships with anyone. Nobody really knew Tiffany. She worked down at the chamber, right? And whatnot. Then all of a sudden she falls out with Melody. This was the defining event, because I really believe her when she said that Melody was her protector. We don't exactly know what happened. That's another issue with the story. We needed a resolve. We needed more. That should have been explored
for the sake of the show and the sake of the viewers, it was disrespectful to the viewers to not allow them to talk that out. And again, all of it happened on social media. Destiny said that, I've tried to call her. Melody goes, well, I needed a break and I did talk to you. Destiny, we didn't talk. And I can show you that I responded to you. And of course, that was kind of a gaslighting moment, because if you go from speaking to someone voice to voice and seeing someone, in person, breathing the same air regularly, where you all are each other's best friends, and we've heard them both say that time and time again, no one expects their best friend to just go ghost like that and to confront your best friend. And the best friend says, you said I never talked to you. Here's a text message where I responded to you once. Like, that's not enough. But it was enough at the time to kind of also play into, like, again, the fan base was really revving up at that time. And they had really jumped on the We Hate Destiny bandwagon. And I think that was even more than what Destiny could take. So I think things started to just pile up, and it exacerbated her worst traits, which were, she's an assertive person, but the flip side of being assertive is you can be aggressive, right? And then we also know that she can be a little confrontational, or she's kind of hard on friendships initially. And then when someone is kind of pressed beyond what they can handle, that part can flip to being just highly confrontational. So if you have a person who's confrontational and aggressive and, this and that, it doesn't really play well on television. And then finally, to lose, probably from her perspective, was one of the only which was a valuable friendship. I think that was crushing to Destiny. I think that the lack of conversation about what prompted it was crushing to her. I think that since that has happened, she has really tried to figure out and understand Melody. I think that she probably feels confused because it isn't the person that she thought that she knew. I think that there's a lot going on there. And a lot that has happened since then, but that's definitely a defining factor. So now Destiny basically doesn't have any real purpose on the show. She isn't the girl that's kind of keeping everybody together and connected anymore. Melody has decided at this season, once all the fanfare and everything kind of started, that she really truly didn't need any of the other girls on the cast. That's about when she decided that she just couldn't stand any of them. And again, that season 3 reunion was a tough reunion. Melody was pretty angry the entire time. If you all remember that one, go back and watch it. It caused a situation where there was no longer a place for Destiny. By this time, Stormy and Tiffany are on the show. Tiffany's causing her own drama. She's neutral with Melody. Stormy is there. Stormy is Melody's friend. So there's not even a space as Melody's friend anymore, because Melody has replaced Destiny there. And there's now a barrier as well between Melody and Kimmy and Letitia, with Stormy and what's her face, Tiffany. So Melody doesn't have to film with any of those ladies. So she doesn't need there was no need for Destiny at that point. And it was a shame, because those were genuine relationships that would have been nice to see play out, that could have really taken this show in the direction that it was originally supposed to go into. But once again, social media hit, and then we started introducing folks to the show who didn't really have a genuine connection, and who also was not, genuinely trying to develop friendships with the other girls. The show just started kind of take a left turn, and there wasn't really anything that Destiny could show. So she lost her spot, and to me, that is really what happened. So last but not least, what is Destiny's character arc? It's flat. She has a flat character arc. This just basically means that we didn't really see her transform one way or another.
We didn't really get to see the full potential of Destiny because of all the things that I just went through and that we discussed up to this slide. And I think that is really, it's a disservice. From her very first season, she clocked in. I think that, again, she was necessary. I love seeing Madani and what she wanted to do with that. I would have loved to see that business really flourish and grow, and thinking about what it could be today is very sad. It's very sad that we weren't able to see it. And it's very sad that she was kind of forced to deal with so much outside of the camera and not allow the viewers to see the story that would have explained, right, the changes that she was going through, the things that were kind of making her cold and hardened. We saw that with Melody. She became cold and hardened. But we were also able to see the story that went along with it. And so folks understood. And so with Destiny, they don't understand it because she is kind of confrontational or assertive anyway. It was very easy for fans of the show to just write her off as having a nasty attitude and being secretive and not having a storyline and not bringing anything to the show. And I think that it's unfortunate because she was really stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I think that Destiny is the sidekick. And sometimes you hear that like negatively, right? Like, oh, you just a sidekick. We need supporting characters for storytelling. Those are very, very important people to stories. Again, they're the glue to the story. They're the people in the story that keep us on track. They're the ones that keep the protagonist from going too far on one end and the antagonist from going too far on the other. And because she was more or less the sidekick of Melody initially, and they fell out, and then all these additional people were added, and it was just kind of like a chaotic ensemble cast. Destiny is going to really shine when she has someone to be attached to. And so it kind of brings us to, if we do have a future with Destiny, what might that character story be? What might those storylines be? So just to talk a little bit more about the sidekick. Sidekicks typically have fewer powers than the main character, but they make up for this with loyalty, inspiration, unique skills or knowledge, and often a really good sense of humor. I think that Destiny has a unique skill of being able to build bridges. I think that she's able to build positive relationships with people. And it's just, again, a shame that we didn't see it. It obviously is happening, but we don't see it on camera. And I really hope that since Destiny is back on the show, that we can find a renewed space for her. But again, the market is a little crowded. They just added Trish, right now, there are a lot of changes that need to take place with the show. And I don't quite see a way for Destiny to be revived with the current makeup of Love and Marriage Huntsville today. I think that something that we would absolutely need to see that could help this quite a bit is for her and Melody to finally get to the bottom of what actually happened with their relationship. And I know that, there's fanfare that say that, well, she was friends with Letitia. That's supposed to be the problem, that she was talking to Melody's enemy. That doesn't track because Destiny had become friends with Letitia for 2 seasons at that point, and Melody knew that. Like, it was 4 of them. They were going to all walk into the sunset. So that's not it. It can't be that she continued to talk to Martell, because Destiny played that middle person between Melody and Martell at the time that everything was falling apart. You will hear Melody say things like, talk to your friend. You will see Destiny stand there and protect Melody. There was one scene where Martell came running out yelling at Wanda. And you can see Destiny standing in between Martell and Melody and walking Melody to her car. Like that doesn't track to be a reason to no longer be friends with her. Like, something else had to happen, and you all owe it to the audience to explore it. Forget about what happened with LeBaric. I don't even care at this point what happened to him, but I do really, truly need to know what happened between her and Melody a real conversation is necessary. I think that Destiny is still deeply hurt by that. I think that she misses that relationship no matter what she says. I think that Melody misses it no matter what she says. But I think that Melody started to get really deep into social media around that time. Carlos even did a whole thing about how social media was affecting the show. He had like a 2-part special on that. I think that became the social media became a character on the show. Then you added 2 more characters, and it was just too much going on. And Destiny is a solid secondary character, supporting character, but who is she supporting? Right? It's just too much happening. There's no rhyme or reason for why people are brought onto the show. It was Destiny was brought onto the show in an expert way. It was an expert way. It was natural. She had a place. She was able to build relationships. She had a story. Boom. If we had gone from there, we would be perfectly fine. But what do you all think? That's my take on Destiny. I think that she is the sidekick. I don't know whose sidekick she's going to be moving forward, because at this point, she has very great relationships with most of the cast. But there's a dynamic here that makes it difficult, and that's the dynamic of Melody. Like, we have to integrate Melody in a real way, which was Destiny had the unique power and the unique gift to humanize Melody. She really did. When they were together, you saw that genuine girlfriend energy. And that was really one of the kind of the value that Destiny brought to that girlfriend circle. And now there's no one on the show who's able to do that. There's no one on the show currently that has a key or a direct path to Melody's heart. And I think that is, it's a problem. It's a problem. But let me know what you all think. Thank you so much. Peace out.
Are you or someone you know experiencing sudden obsession with fictional characters from the hit show Love and Marriage Huntsville? You may be suffering from Melody Derangement Syndrome, or MDS. MDS affects hundreds of fans worldwide, causing compulsive behaviors such as rage tweeting, binge watching YouTube videos, and prying into the personal lives of TV characters. Don't let MDS control your life. Talk to your doctor today about the symptoms of Melody Derangement Syndrome and find out how you can regain control. Consult your physician before starting any treatment. Side effects may include improved social interactions, increased productivity, and a healthier relationship with reality. Viewer discretion is advised.